محمد وآل محمد.
أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ قال للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
We started off this week, saying yesterday, with a series of prophets. In the series of prophets, we went to Prophet Adam alayhi salam, from Adam, to look at the creation and take some lessons. Yesterday, we pointed out that Allah described to the angels that he was going to create a caliph on this earth, creates a representative. And when angels proposed their idea becoming a caliph, a khalifa, Allah responded back. And there is an extension of that response that says, I wish to create a being and from his progeny create prophets, messengers, righteous servants, and guiding imams, and appoint them as my representative on the earth so that they may prohibit the people from disobedience, warn them of my punishment, invite them towards my worship, and lead them on the way liked by me. I shall appoint them as my proof on my creatures and remove the jinn from the earth and purify the earth. And I shall remove the jinn away from my creation and from my greatness, and by my greatness, make them inhabitant of the surroundings of the earth. My creation will not be in their company. I shall put a curtain between the jinn and the men so that the humans cannot see the jinn and cannot interact and associate with them. This is a very descriptive narration that talks to us about the intention of Allah behind creating Adam alayhi salam. He wants to bring the prophets. He wants to bring the messengers. He wants to bring the guides. He wants to bring the righteous men from the progeny of Adam alayhi salam. On the other hand, we said there is another creature that walked this earth, and those creatures were jinns. And Allah has a plan for them because they've already caused a lot of chaos on earth. And now this new being who is entering the picture of the world, Allah wanted to create a separation between the jinns and the ins, the jinns and the human being. So Allah said, I will create a veil between the two. Now the jinns won't be able to live like they lived before this human being. I will let them live in the surroundings so that they don't interact with the human beings. The jinns and the human beings are now separated with the veil. Hence, we don't see them. They exist. They have life around us, but we don't interact with them. Now, next point about this creation is, how did Allah create Adam alayhi salam? What we know about the creation is Allah created Adam alayhi salam from clay. Let's look at a deeper let's look deeper into this concept of creation and how this clay and how that clay was formed into the substance that would create this human being. There's a narration from two Imams, Amir al-Mu'mineen and Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salam.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وسلم.
Now I'll summarize this. But they both share the same theme of creation. It is mentioned that Allah sent Jibreel alayhi salam to gather the clay from the earth. And this clay was of different types, a mixture of different clays. Some was hard, some was soft, some was sweet and salty, but don't take everything literally here because, as you know, that not every clay is sweet. Now, what does that mean? It's allegorical. And also remember, when the Imams are presenting this information to the people, they are talking to them based on the intellect. So when Jibreel is gathering, or any of, so let me be clear, when Allah sent his angel to gather this mud from different parts of this earth, some soil could have been rich in minerals, that's where you find some taste. Some salt could have been under the influence of some other mineral that made it sour. There could be many reasons why the taste of the mud is what is described here. Or it could be allegorical, could be metaphorical. Doesn't have to be the taste of. The mud may not have any taste, but it may have some sort of state. And then when all the mud was gathered of different kinds, there was water poured into it. And now we also have seen that there is different types of water. Salt water, salty water, or fresh water that is sweet. And then both of them got together and they were kneaded. So by the might of Allah, the clay and the water were mixed together that created a homogeneous mixture. And this mixture was ready. Then Allah ordered the angels, it says 4 angels, to blow air. Now this air was blown from north and south and east and west. And each wind that was blown had an element, had an impact on this clay. And the impact of that clay was such that it says in the narration, one part caused this passion, or when it goes to extreme, it's madness. And the other part of the wind caused production of phlegm. The other part caused production of bile. And the other caused the production of blood. So the narration is telling us that there were 4 elements that were part of this mixture that created blood and phlegm and bile in the body, and also there is something that is related to emotions. So these 4 elements came into existence of this homogeneous mixture, and they all have their own responsibilities. Now this madness creates the attraction to the opposite gender. And it also instigates hopes. The role of phlegm is responsible for desire to eat and drink, to act charitably, intelligence, and hospitality. The role of bile causes anger, stupidity, evil, oppression, injustice, and haste. And then there's blood, which also has a role, and it creates desires. So what we are seeing here is that a human body that is being created isn't just created from mud and water. Allah is binding this clay with other elements that is going to form the physical form and emotional form of a human being. When the structure was created, the head was designed, the limbs were designed, the legs were designed, eyes and nose and mouth and ears. Every part of the body was designed in this structure of who? The first human being. And then Allah said that I will blow a soul into the body and all the angels should prostrate. It is said that this body, this structure, in its complete physicality was lying in the heavens for 40 years. And when the soul was put into this body, a complete human being was born. A human being that carried the 5 senses, the human being that carried emotions, the human being that carried the elements that also conscious. That means you could feel heat, you could also feel cold. You have anger, you also have patience. A lot of those emotional elements were available. A lot of those sensory elements were available. And the human being carried the heart, the brain, the nerves, the whole system that resides in our body. I want to summarize this. Prophet Adam was created. He went through the process of creation. And then there is a divine act of giving life. And Allah endowed this body with qualities, physical capabilities, as well as the moral capabilities and emotional capabilities. Then there are sensory abilities. And the human complexity, what we see in this creation, is that the collection of contradictory qualities, like I said, heat and cold, dryness and moisture, sorrow and happiness. And you also see the reflection of divine craftsmanship in it, and the complex nature of life and the human life. What it also tells us that when Allah created that being, Allah said Allah declared to the human beings that I shall create from you until the resurrection day, and they shall invite the people towards the good and bad. And Allah says that Allah can change them into people of right. That means Allah has the control over His creation, where He can create people of right and people of left. That means people who go to heaven, who are guided. People who go to hell because they did not abide the rules of Allah. They were disobedient. They go to hell. But Allah says, whoever asks for my forgiveness, I shall forgive them. Whoever asks for guidance, I shall guide them. That means that there is no predestination. There is a concept called bad'an. that means you're not pre-programmed to do either good or bad. You've been given the strength and capability to distinguish between right and wrong. You choose what you want to do, and Allah is going to reward you for that. On the other hand, Allah also has the right to change your destiny. Your actions your destiny depends upon your action. But Allah also deserves the right to change your destiny. That means the Laylatul Qadr that we will soon observe and do Amal is the night where our destiny is the destiny of all human beings is written. But your action that night, your prayers that night will change the course of destiny. The prayers have such power. With that, inshallah, I will continue tomorrow. Obviously, there are no room for questions today. I wanted to give you the information about the creation. If you have any questions, we can meet after dinner, inshallah, and discuss it. I know this is not an easy material to go through from a theological standpoint and also from a very rational standpoint. Inshallah, we'll try to summarize it again if you want and discuss it further. But inshallah, after dinner, may Allah grant us tawfiq to allow us the ability to get His pleasure in this month, seek His pleasure in this month, and may Allah hasten the appearance of Imam Zaman. Allah Ta'ala Faradu Sharif. Subhana Rabbika Rabbil Izzati Amma Yasifun. Wassalamu ala al-mursaleen. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin.